Good morning, and welcome to New Hanover County Schools The Morning Show. I'm Hannah Bolick.
And I'm Louis Behar. This is the week of April 18th to the 24th, and today's show is absolutely poetic.
That's right. April is National Poetry Month, and we have special segments today to highlight poetry. We'll take a look at some tips on how to write poetry so you at home can give it a shot.
Along with that, we give you a glimpse of a wonderful series on poets that airs right here on the Learning Network to close the show.
We also have all the news, notes, and highlights from the April Board of Education meeting in our Board Notes special.
And later in the show, we have our April edition of Snapshots, where we highlight several great stories from across the school system.
But first, let's check in with our news anchor for a look at this morning's Your School News headlines. Good morning.
Good morning, Hannah and Louis, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the Morning Show. Topping the headlines this week, New Hanover County Schools' first annual Technology Engineering Day, Beekeeper visits the Students' College Road Early Development Center, and Queen Azalea visits Ogden Elementary School. I will have all these stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks. We get things going today with a staple here on the Morning Show. We call this segment This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History, brought to you by Kidsville News.
Welcome to This Week in History. I am your historical host, Ella Cox, covering all of the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of April 18th through April 24th. April 18th, 1906. At 5:13 a.m., an earthquake estimated close to 8.0 on the Richter scale strikes San Francisco, California, killing hundreds of people as it topples numerous buildings. The quake was caused by a slip of the San Andreas Fault over a segment about 275 miles long, and the shockwaves could be felt from southern Oregon down to Los Angeles. April 19th, 1897, John J. McDermott of New York won the first Boston Marathon. The marathon was the brainchild of Boston Athletic Association member and U.S. Olympic team manager John Graham. He was inspired by the marathon at the first modern Olympic Games held the year before. April 20th, 2012. An explosion and fire aboard the Deepwater Horizon oil drilling rig in the Gulf of Mexico kills 11 people and triggers the largest offshore oil spill in American history. By the time the well was capped 3 months later, an estimated 4.9 million barrels of crude oil had poured into the Gulf. April 21st, 1989. Nearly 100,000 students gather at Beijing's Tiananmen Square to voice their disconnect with China's authoritative communist government. The protests lasted until June, when the Chinese government used the military to reclaim the square. April 22nd, 1915. During World War I, German forces shocked the Allied soldiers along the Western Front by firing more than 150 tons of lethal chlorine gas against two French colonial divisions in Belgium. This was the first major gas attack by the Germans, and it devastated the Allied line. Finally, your week in history tidbits. April 23rd, 1954. Hank Aaron knocks out the first home run of his Major League Baseball career while playing for the Milwaukee Braves. 20 years later, Aaron became baseball's new home run king when he broke Babe Ruth's long-standing record of 714 career homers. April 24th, 1800. President John Adams approves legislation to appropriate $5,000 to purchase such books as may be necessary for the use of the Congress. thus establishing the Library of Congress. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Ella Cox. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning resource for children, teachers, and parents. Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in the New Hanover County school system.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
We have plenty and more of the morning show ahead, including Science Nation and our presidential segment, Bell Ringers.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after this short break.
And I'd like you to watch this anti-drug message. Thanks.
If you don't do drugs, you can do great things.
Glucose plus oxygen equals carbon dioxide plus water.
Hey, Gio, what's up?
And energy. Superior vena cava, pulmonary artery, coronary artery.
I'd like to pass them back to you now.
Fort Chem
Very
tissue
pleased with
types
your
of
work.
endoplasmic reticulum with ribosomes. Is it 3 o'clock already? And without. Copy of the skeletal anatomy notes. Syllabus. Fort Chem site Wednesday. Velocity carbon dioxide skeletal anatomy Thursday. The lobes of the cortex.
She's got the drive,
Cranial volume.
the energy,
Frontal, parietal,
the heart,
and occipital.
and the talent.
Cortical motor output. Vena cava.
Pre-med.
Different
But she wouldn't be here
evolutionary development.
without your help. Please support the United Negro College Fund, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Syllabus. Fort Chem 2.
So, April.
Yeah?
You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Hannah Bullock.
And I'm Louis Behar.
National Poetry Month is the largest literary celebration in the world, with tens of millions of readers marking poetry's important place in our culture and our lives.
The month-long celebration was created in 1996 with 6 goals in mind.
They are to highlight the extraordinary legacy and ongoing achievement of American poets, to encourage the reading of poems,
to assist teachers in bringing poetry into their classrooms, to increase the attention to poetry by national and local media,
to encourage increased publication and distribution of poetry books, and to encourage support for poets and poetry.
With those goals in mind, one of the funniest ways to enjoy poetry is to write some yourself.
For some, it may come easy, while others think they could never do it well. However, everyone should try.
But you won't know until you do. So try and take notes and enjoy these tips on how to write poetry.
Writing poetry is not often something people think about doing, especially in this age where movies are such a popular method of storytelling. However, taking time to try your hand at writing a poem can be very rewarding and satisfying. The great thing about poetry is it reflects the uniqueness of the author. Simply put, no one is like you. Expressing yourself through poetry is a great way to share who you are and how you feel. You may ask yourself, how do I start? Here are a few tips to get you going. Begin by giving your poem a theme. Think about the message you want to share with your audience and create your theme from that. Themes give something that people can take away from reading your poem. It also gives them a good, easy impression on what the poem is about. Try to keep your theme a clear and understandable idea. Our next tip, paint a picture with words. Instead of a boring description of someone or something, use intense adjectives of colors and shapes. And don't be minimal. Be very detailed in descriptions, metaphors, and personifications, if possible. Here's an example. Instead of, the big man jumped, try, the man, as large as a house, bent his knees and flew from the ground like a rocket. Have fun with the words as you paint your picture. Here's a quick tip. Don't use cliches. Overusing phrases that we've all heard over and over and over again can be pretty boring. Instead, think of new and interesting ways to tell a story or describe something you are feeling. How can you come up with those new words and avoid those cliches? Simple. Our next tip has the answer. Use a dictionary. It's a great place to find cool and exciting words to include in your poem and impress your readers. Dictionaries also include pronunciation, so you can be sure your poem flows as well as you'd like it to. Another great tip is to read some poetry. Spend time reading the classics and new poetry to get inspiration and pick up tips. This can also motivate you to write and give you a feel for what makes a poem great. Our next tip, know your goal. What do you want your poem to do? To express? Are there emotions you need to vent? Do you want to turn one of your fun life stories into a unique reading for others? Do you want to write a poem just to give it a try? Knowing what your goal is can help prevent frustration while writing. And our final tip is the most important. Just write. In today's busy world, take time for yourself and give writing a try. Thinking is an excellent exercise. Delve into your inner thoughts and feelings and express them with your pen. You may be surprised what you find out about yourself. We hope these tips will help you get on your way to writing that first poem, or perhaps give you new motivation to continue on with others.
If you decide to try and write poetry, and you should, be sure to enjoy it and have fun. The great thing is, there's no wrong way to do it.
We hope you are inspired and excited. Later in the show, we will tell you about a wonderful series airing here on the Learning Network which features famous poets. Great TV to further inspire you.
It's time now for our first block of news. Let's send it over to our anchor who has several interesting stories to report. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Gabrielle Allen de Trois-Maisons. The first annual New Hanover County High School Technology Engineering Day Contest and Workshop was held recently at Hoggard High. A special guest speaker, amazing workshops, and an incredible roller coaster contest made the event fun and memorable for everyone. YSN reporter Stephen Thornton has all the details.
It wasn't a joke on April 1st when the 2016 first annual County Technology Engineering Day Contest and Workshops were held at Hoggard High School. This first-time event featured a host of new experiences for all the students involved. The event kicked off with a presentation from Dr. Amy Reamer. Dr. Reamer is Program Director and Academic Advisor for the NC State Engineering 2+2 Transfer Program at UNCW. She shared with the students a few words about her profession, the workshop, and the overall importance of engineering in today's world.
I hope that they heard that engineering is a very diverse field and that engineers ultimately solve tough problems. And so I was giving them a few examples of how they might solve problems, kind of commiserate with what they were doing today to solve these roller coaster, to build their roller coaster.
2 workshops featuring 4 events were a major part of the Engineering Day activities. Each workshop focused on a different form of engineering. One of those, structural engineering, put the students under a little pressure. Given only 2 sheets of paper and 5 inches of tape, the students were challenged to create a way to support 30 textbooks. In another workshop on industrial engineering, student teams had to build the tallest towers using only pasta and marshmallows.
Yeah, one was when we had to use toothpicks to build stuff and then take them apart to build something connected to it and build other things. So it's like using 2 things for 1 or 1 thing for 2. You know what I mean?
The centerpiece for this year's event was roller coaster design. The event called on teams to use concepts commonly found in technology, engineering, and design and drafting classes which most students were taking. The design of the roller coasters was left up to the students, although each design had to meet a number of constraints assigned at the beginning of the project.
It's actually really fun because normally in technology it's kind of you just present to your class and that's it. No one out of class gets to see what you actually do. But when you do it as a big group and stuff, you actually get to show other people like, hey, this is what I built. Because normally you can't take these big projects and just like pull them around class. Like you can't really do that.
With this competition, students got to use their creative ingenuity and work as a team to make the best roller coaster. It taught budgeting, task distribution, architectural design, teamwork, and trust in their fellow classmates. Though it was a contest, it was more about working together to achieve their goal. We look forward to next year's event. Reporting for Your School News, this is Stephen Thornton.
Things were buzzing at the College Road Early Development Center as the students learned all about bees. The school is fortunate enough to have a real-life beekeeper on campus, and boy, did he know a lot of stuff. He even brought props with him so the children could see everything it takes to make honey. Students learned that bees have a special tongue that sucks up the nectar and a special stomach for storing it until they get back to the hive, where it is turned into honey to use as food. The beekeeper explained to the students that many plants depend on bees to spread pollen, helping them to reproduce. Flowers that attract bees are usually yellow, blue, or purple. Many bees specialize in one plant species. In areas where different flowering plants bloom at the same time, this keeps different bee species from fighting over the same flower. The students learned that honeybees and bumblebees live in colonies or hives. All the bees in the colony work together for the good of the hive. Each has a job to do. The queen lays the eggs and the workers build the honeycomb, care for the larvae, and collect the food. The coolest thing for the students was the living section of one of the beekeeper's hives that he brought for them to see. The students got to see up close the hive, the bees working the hive, and even little bees just being born. It was an extremely cool event for everyone. Prior to the April school board meeting, the New Hanover County Board of Education announced the first cohort of the Board of Education Student Scholarships for Future Teachers at a special signing ceremony. Each student received a scholarship for a total amount of $28,000 to support them as they pursue a career in education. The 4 students winning the scholarship are Chloe Schaefer from Laney High School. Chloe is a member of Laney's Teacher Cadet Program and is the president of Future Teachers of America. Samuel Unry of Hoggard High School. Samuel is a member of the Hoggard Marching Band, Beta Club, and National Honor Society. Casey White from Isaac Bear Early College High School. Casey is a mentor for Isaac Bear's BEST program, a member of the National Honor Society, and the senior editor of the school yearbook. Lindsay Wilcox from Hoggard High School. Lindsay volunteers and tutors at several New Hanover County schools. For all of the latest on New Hanover County schools, join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 191. For Your School News, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks. In addition to watching Your School News in the morning show, you can see many of NHCS TV's programming online.
Just go to the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV logo right there on the front page.
You can watch great programs there like Diversity Matters, The Forum, and Up Front with the Superintendent.
It's an excellent way to watch our programming whenever you want.
Shifting gears now, we have everyone's favorite segment from North Carolina Zoo at Asheboro. The Zoo Files tells us all about different animals, exhibits, and happenings at the zoo.
For people visiting the North Carolina Zoo, seeing our animals enhances their learning experience. But the zoo's education department has a collection of animals called Animal Ambassadors, which give kids an up-close and personal experience. Those animals are not on exhibit, but zoo education animal caregiver Hannah Decker has more on how your kids can see the animal ambassadors and what valuable lessons the creatures are teaching kids.
An animal ambassador is a live animal present during an education program. Animal ambassadors are so important because they serve as a catalyst for learning. By capturing the audience's interest. They're easily visible, close at hand, and usually active. They increase learning, and they also can help to change attitudes about environmental issues. The North Carolina Zoo education staff offers a variety of programs both on and off-site for education purposes. Everything from zoo snoozes and birthday parties and camps during the summer, Summer library programs off-site. In 2015, Kids Zone's going to be open from April through October, and Thursdays through Sundays and holidays, we offer 2 animal encounter programs a day. Also, people can see these animal programs by going to the zoo's website, nczoo.org, clicking on the Education tab, and seeing the numerous different activities and programs offered both on and off site. This is a great time of year for our visitors to come out and visit the zoo. It's beautiful and we have a lot of things to offer.
Whether it's here at the zoo or off site, animal ambassadors are definitely enhancing the way kids learn about wildlife. To learn more about our animal ambassadors, check out our website, nczoo.org. I'm Gavin Johnson reporting for Zoo Files, connecting your life to wildlife.
The North Carolina Zoo near Asheboro is open year-round. For more information, call 1-800-488-0444 or visit the zoo website at www.nczoo.org.
That was another first-rate edition of Zoo Files. Thank you.
From zoo news to science news, we are thrilled to bring you the National Science Foundation's online magazine, Science Nation.
In this feature, they examine the breakthroughs and possibilities for the new discoveries about our planet, our universe, and ourselves.
Each week, Science Nation takes a dynamic, entertaining look at the research and the researchers that will change our lives.
What's the best way to get to know a protein?
From a teaching standpoint, it's really, really important that students be able to touch, feel, see, embrace, if you like, these proteins.
Proteins are the workhorses of cells. With support from the National Science Foundation, University of Arkansas biochemist James Hinton researches their structure and function. About 5 years ago, Hinton focused on creating a dramatically better way of displaying the inner workings of proteins.
Kids are visual people nowadays, and so I began to look around for ways of actually visualizing three-dimensional structures.
Hinton worked with the visualization company Vertalis to use virtual reality to show how proteins function, interacting with everything from DNA to a flu virus. With 3D glasses and a huge screen, students and professors can interact with proteins.
One of the things that pharmaceutical companies are vitally interested in these days is how do you take a protein that causes a disease, causes a problem, and devise ways of deactivating the protein.
Pharmaceutical companies must go beyond just creating drugs. They must also be able to update them as the pathogens they are designed to treat mutate and evolve.
You trick them for a while and then they modify themselves so that the old drug no longer works. To be able to see the binding site before you go into the laboratory and begin to make modifications in your drug or drugs is a very, very important thing.
The tool is now in wide use internationally. Paul Adams uses it for cancer research.
Using immersive technology, and boy, let me tell you, it really brings the point home in 3 dimensions as opposed to, again, using just a regular computer.
Hinton says virtual reality is a great way to entice young scientists.
Seeing them have fun is a great joy, because you feel maybe one out of these 100 or so kids will say, well, biochemistry or chemistry, maybe I'd like that.
Hinton has certainly done his part, helping scientists understand the complicated world of proteins by reaching out to touch one. For Science Nation, I'm Miles O'Brien.
That was another interesting segment from Science Nation. Tune in next week for another all-new science edition.
Now, as we head to break, we have the word of the week. Each week, we highlight an advanced English word, so when you use them in a sentence, you can impress your friends and family.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt.
It's fortified with arts-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogher, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Welcome to the Maya and Miguel Challenge. Meet Maya and the gang.
Oh, hi, I'm Maya.
Maya and her friends want you to get up and play, because it's always more fun to be active.
There's mountain biking, boating and fishing, mountain climbing and spelunking. Let's get started.
Get ready to take the Maya and Miguel Challenge.
Let's see.
Just go to letsmove.gov and look for Maya and Miguel. You'll find tons of fun activities that'll help keep you healthy and active. Muy activo. You can also check out healthy recipes to try with your family, play cool games, and get free downloads. So come hang out with Maya, Miguel, and the whole gang.
Goal!
Remember, whether you play sports, run, dance, or jump in place, just get up and play at least an hour a day.
I read that everyone should walk 20 minutes a day.
Make that 60 minutes a day and you've got it, Maya. And don't forget, eat healthy to be your best. Maya and Miguel will show you how at letsmove.gov.
I'm home, and I love it. I'm home, where I belong.
It's always nice to come home, but many Americans are at risk of foreclosure and losing their homes. Making home affordable from the U.S. government has already helped over 1 million struggling homeowners like these. The sooner you act, the better chance we can help you.
I'm home, where I belong.
Welcome back to the morning show. At the beginning of each month, the New Hanover County Board of Education holds their monthly meeting at the Board of Education Center on South 13th Street. NHCS TV is on hand at each of these meetings, and we bring you a full recap on what happened and what was approved in our Board Notes report.
The April Board of Education meeting included a large number of recognitions and new business focused primarily on projects from the Operations Department. Let's get right to the Board Notes. Under recognition of achievement, the Board recognized the state wrestling champion from Laney High School. The Finance Division was recognized for earning 2 certificates of achievement for excellence in financial reporting. Additionally, the Director of Finance earned the Award of Financial Reporting Achievement for preparing an award-winning, comprehensive annual financial report. Myrtle Grove Middle School's team was recognized for winning the 7th Annual Middle School Black History Quiz Bowl for the 3rd year in a row. The 2015-2016 state-level PTA Reflections Art Contest winners were recognized, and Board of Education member Edward Higgins was recognized for his appointment to the North Carolina Board Association's Legislative Committee. Under information, Board member Edward B. Higgins gave a report on the Head Start program, and Superintendent Dr. Tim Markley made a presentation on the 2016-17 proposed county budget request. Under new business, the Blackboard Student Notification System contract renewal was approved. Exchange of utility easements for Bellamy Elementary School was approved, and the Procurement Plan Child Nutrition Program was approved. Also under new business, the Bellamy Elementary School painting contract, bids for New Hanover High School's George West building renovations, bids for Sidbury Road Complex improvements, bids for E.A. Laney High School Phase 2 abatement replacement, and the dedication of right-of-way to the North Carolina Department of Transportation at the Sidbury Road Complex were all approved. Additional items discussed and approved for the Operations Department were an amendment to access, utility, and drainage easement agreement for Porters Neck Elementary School and the utility easement agreement for Porters Neck Elementary School. Finally, the Board approved additions to the curriculum course guide, the sole source resolution with Castle Learning, and reservations to the 2015-2016 calendar. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be Tuesday, May 3rd at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can watch rebroadcast Tuesday nights at 6 p.m., Friday mornings at 8 a.m., and Sundays at 1 p.m. Board meetings can also be watched online at the school system's website. That's your board notes for April. Back to you.
Thanks for that report.
Remember, you can watch the entire board meeting right here on the Learning Network.
All right, it's time for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, April 18th through Monday, April 25th.
On Monday, April 18th, we have a fiesta and dig into a chicken quesadilla with Spanish rice, French bread pizza, or a deluxe chicken sandwich. Keep your belly cheering with joy by adding garden peas, glazed sweet potatoes, and mixed fruit.
Then on Tuesday, April 19th, energize yourself with spaghetti and meatballs with a breadstick, barbecue chicken with a biscuit, or pork barbecue sandwich. On the side, you may add several appetizing items: lima beans, fresh veggie cup, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, April 20th, race to the lunch line for a delicious meal of either a Philly cheesesteak, cheesy breadsticks, or a turkey and cheese wrap. Accompany your meal with pasta salad, North Carolina sweet potato, and diced peaches.
On Thursday, April 21st, sit down and chow down on a BLT sandwich with cheese cubes, macaroni and cheese with a roll, or a cheeseburger. While you're contemplating on the decision, go ahead and grab a side of items like vegetable soup, french fries, and fresh fruit.
Then, on Friday, April 22nd, celebrate the coming weekend with a beef enchilada with Spanish rice, chicken egg rolls with fried rice, or corn dog nuggets. To wrap up the meal, enjoy Oriental vegetables and raisels, which are sour raisins.
Finally, on Monday, April 25th, how will you ever decide between chicken nuggets with rice and gravy, a fish fillet sandwich, or a hot dog with chili? While you're contemplating your decision, go ahead and grab the side items of macaroni salad, sweet potato waffle fries, and diced pears.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week. In addition to those items, milk, a garden salad, French bread pizza, and a peanut butter and jelly combo will be available daily.
So many delicious choices. Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school. Bell Ringers is our next segment this morning, and it's from the C-SPAN classroom. This series features a biography of each of our country's presidents. Beginning with our first show of the school year, we start with our first president, George Washington. Each week we feature the next president until we cover them all and bring the series to a close next summer. Enjoy learning about the people who have led our country in this riveting series. Here's this week's episode of Bell Ringers.
When Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a little boy, his father took him to the White House where he met President Grover Cleveland. "I'm making a strange wish for you, little man," Cleveland said as he placed his hand on Roosevelt's head. "I wish for you that you may never be President of the United States."
I, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
Ironically, Roosevelt was elected president, an unprecedented 4 times. His first term began on March 4th, 1933. He died during his 4th term on April 12th, 1945, at the age of 63. On the morning of his death, he was at his cottage in Warm Springs, Georgia, going through paperwork as an artist painted his portrait. Around 1 p.m., he placed his hand to his temple and announced that he had, quote, "a terrific headache." He died of a cerebral hemorrhage shortly thereafter.
Shall we gather at the river where bright angel feet have trod, with its crystal tide forever flowing by the throne of God?
Roosevelt was born in the family's affluent Hyde Park, New York home on January 30th, 1882. His father, James, was 54 and ebullient when Franklin was born. James felt he had a new lease on life and took him virtually everywhere, including several trips to Europe and summers on Campobello Island in Canada. He died in 1900 when Franklin was 18. His mother, Sarah, was said to have been overly protective of Franklin. She poured all of her energy into her only child, teaching him manners and etiquette. As a very young boy, she insisted that he wear dresses and kilts, and did not have his hair cut until he was 4 years old. Mrs. Roosevelt was the first mother of a president to be able to vote for her son. She remained his dear Ma until her death in 1941, at the age of 86. On March 17, 1905, after he graduated from Harvard, but before he had finished Columbia University Law School, Franklin married his fifth cousin, once removed, Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor was the niece of Theodore Roosevelt, and he gave her away at her New York City wedding to Franklin. As a small child, she was shy and insecure, prompting her mother to call her Granny. By adolescence, both of her parents had died, and she was sent to live with her maternal grandmother. She finally gained confidence in her teens while studying at a London finishing school. Upon her return to the United States, she made her society debut and worked as a volunteer in the slums of New York City. In 1906, a year after they were married, the first of their 5 children was born. In 1913, Roosevelt was appointed Assistant Secretary of the Navy. At the same time, Eleanor hired 22-year-old Lucy Mercer to act as her social secretary. In 1918, Eleanor found love letters that her husband exchanged with Mercer. Despite his promise to end the affair, Mercer spent time with Roosevelt whenever Eleanor was not around. She was with him the day he died. In 1921, at the age of 39, he was struck with polio. The athletic 6'1" Roosevelt never regained use of his legs, and the public remained largely unaware of the extent of his disability. Eleanor once said that he became more compassionate following his paralysis. Those who were close to him agreed that he was never uncomfortable about his condition and remained composed and good-natured when he required assistance from others. Roosevelt once said, "A radical man is a man with both feet firmly planted in the air. A conservative man is a man with 2 perfectly good legs who, however, has never learned to walk forward. A liberal is a man who uses his legs and his hands at the behest of his head." Dwight Eisenhower commented that he couldn't agree with all of FDR's liberal political acts, but thought that during the war, he was an exceptional leader. Those close to Roosevelt believed that he was outwardly optimistic, had a great imagination, and was fearless. He was, however, a reserved man, and did not easily share personal thoughts. The public came to know him when he was the governor of New York from 1929 until 1933. Roosevelt delivered fireside chats, informal radio broadcasts that later became the hallmark of his presidency. An avid bird watcher and stamp collector, he loved to play cards, and each afternoon conducted what he called the Children's Hour, a time in which he mixed cocktails for his friends.
In fulfilling my duty to report upon the State of the Union, I am proud to say to you that the spirit of the American people was never higher than it is today.
As we get into our break, we continue our focus on our wonderful country with a challenging series of bumpers.
The United States has a rich, interesting history and a unique system of government. Knowing about our country is a very important part of being a good citizen.
Take our quick civics quiz and see how you know, or perhaps it will help you learn more about U.S. history and government.
Are you the weakest link at your bus stop? Because you don't know the school bus safety rules. When riding on the bus, stay in your seat Don't stick anything out the windows. Listen to the bus driver, follow his or her directions. Talk quietly with your friends. Don't throw things in the bus. Safety! And the big yellow bus keeps everyone safe and sound.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm my dog.
Our story begins with a journey for knowledge. For research indicates that when a parent takes a more active role in their child's quest for education, that child will be bestowed with higher grades and higher sense of being. Just a wee bit of time out of your meeting schedule is all it takes to show your allegiance.
Hear what your kids are saying. Get more involved. Join your local PTA.
Hi, I'm Sheila E. Music is vital to a quality education for every child in America. Children who study music do better in school and in their lives. Music in school keeps children in school. It gives you confidence, it's inspiring, and it just makes you feel good. Please get involved in your community and help make sure that music is part of every child's education. To learn how you can help, please visit www.supportmusic.com.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Louis Behar, and my co-host is Hannah Bolick, and we have our April segment of Snapshots.
In Snapshots, we take quick looks at some of the positive things going on around our school system. From fun projects to school-wide events to guest speakers and fabulous field trips, there are so many great things for our schools to celebrate.
Rachel Freeman's Family STEM Night was a huge success. The event had 10 engineering activity stations to help students and their families have fun as Freeman engineers. Everyone also enjoyed a delicious ice cream sundae before visiting the stations. Both UNCW and GE provided materials and had presentations at booths for the event.
Hoggard High School participated in the UNC Pembroke's Juried High School exhibition in celebration of Youth Art Month. This show is designed to offer a professionally organized gallery exhibition to artistically accomplished high school students. It also celebrates and rewards student talent and recognizes art teachers for their encouragement and effective teaching skills.
St. Patrick's Day was a fun day at Alderman Elementary. Principal Bob Maxey and school counselor Donna Hamilton spread Irish spirit around the school all day by wearing green from head to toe. It was a fun day for the staff and students.
Holly Tree Elementary's Katie Blevins and Mary C. Williams Quayshawn Thomas recently won the title of New Hanover County's Fastest Girl and Boy. UNCW hosted the first Fastest Kid in New Hanover County event. Elementary school boys and girls countywide represented their schools in a 100-meter race to crown the fastest kid in the county.
Miss Beecher's 6th grade math class at Murray Middle School had a pi digit recitation contest Monday. The top winner was Cade Dunnan, who memorized an amazing 314 digits of pi and set a new Murray record. All the top placers won yummy pies to take home to share with their families.
Students, parents, and teachers enjoyed a PTA-sponsored family night and book fair at Pine Valley Elementary School. The school's 4th and 5th grade chorus provided music to open the fun-filled evening. Everyone mingled as they played games and drew pictures in addition to shopping for new books to bring home.
That was this month's Snapshots, a look at just a few of the many positive happenings in our school system.
It's time for more Your School News, so let's send it back over to our news anchor.
Thank you, Hannah and Lewis, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the Morning Show. The excitement and pageantry of the Azalea Festival is an event that everyone from the oldest to the youngest got to enjoy this year. The students at Ogden Elementary especially were treated to a once-in-a-lifetime Azalea Festival, as their school was included as part of the Azalea Queens tour around Wilmington. We get the details from Kathy Kale.
Azalea bells, beauty queens, cadets, and celebrities swept onto the Ogden Elementary campus with sirens sounding just as the rain faded and the sun came out. This made it possible for all the children at the school to get a chance to see Queen Azalea Anna Koyman. Miss Koyman spoke with the children and teachers as she made her way into the school, stopping along the way to take photos with the adorable students. The president of the 2016 festival, Robbie Collins, thanked the school for opening its doors and being a part of the Queen City tour. As a token of the festival's appreciation, Mr. Collins presented the school with a framed print of this year's Azalea Festival poster. Then a Queen Azalea took the stage with microphone in hand. She jumped right into the crowd of students, talking with them about their future plans and sharing with them the message to never give up on their dreams. She closed her presentation with an interactive call and response with the students.
I can do anything. I can do anything.
Thunderous applause followed the Queen's remarks. As a special gift to Queen Azalea, the school gave her a giant basket of North Carolina goodies from across the state. The visit wrapped up with student Macy Thompson reading a poem about the beauty of an azalea, and Ogden Stingrays singing the power of a dream. As the Queen and her court made their way out, many students got another chance to high-five members of the Queen's court, and some even taking selfies as mementos of the wonderful day. Reporting for your school news, this is Kathy Kale.
Myrtle Grove Middle School recently held a career and college fair with each grade level at the school was able to attend. Local businesses were invited in to speak to the middle school students about what their company does, why their field is an interesting career path, and how a college education can prepare someone for that type of career. The fair was designed to help students think about their future and expose them to some of the possibilities available to them.
What we decided that we need to expose our middle school kids to the future, what they really want to make of their lives. And we do a lot in the classroom, but we felt it would be really more enriching if they could actually talk to people in the community, professionals in different areas, medicine, real estate, business. And we have a broad range here. It's just been great for the kids to think about what they want to do in their future.
Many businesses attended the fair covering a wide variety of fields. In addition, Cape Fear Community College and UNC Wilmington were on hand to give students information on attending college. Even though these middle schoolers have several years before they begin a career path, the fair was important in helping them create a vision of what they would like to do. Having the chance to talk one-on-one with people from different career areas was a valuable experience. Finally, the 4th Annual Teacher Trot 5K Race and Fun Run presented by Hendrick Toyota of Wilmington is Saturday, May 7th. The event will begin at 8 a.m. and will be held at Ashley High School. Proceeds raised from the event will help support NHCS staff, wellness, and student physical education programs. Registration costs are $25 for adults and $15 for students. Race day registration will be $30 and will begin at 7 a.m. at the Ashley track. To register online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the Teacher Trot icon. Many schools will form teams and compete for awards that include Most School Spirit and Most Participation. In addition, awards will be given to the top 3 finishers in the following categories: age groups, best overall, and teams. That's all for now. To watch this week's edition of Your School News online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV logo on the homepage. Now back over to Hannah and Lewis.
Thanks. Now to end today's show with a look at a part of a series on poetry which airs right here on TLN.
This insightful 8-part series, Great Poets of the World, covers all the greatest poets of the ages and their works from all over the world.
It takes viewers on a journey of the evolution of poetry from the earliest poets of Asia to the lyrical and spiritual works of the Middle East's poets, to the great poets of the Renaissance and modern Europe, to the long tradition of English poetry, to the emerging poetic literary tradition of North America, and to the avant-garde poets of Spain and South America.
Today, here on The Morning Show, we have a special clip from the series to give you a feel for what you will be seeing.
This clip takes a look at the poet T.S. Eliot, intellectual giant.
He was one of the world's intellectual giants. He was a mentor to and critic of all men and women of letters in the 20th century. He was the greatest of the modernist poets.
This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
He was a Christian mystic, an American who chose to live his creative life in Britain. He was T.S. Eliot. Born in 1888 into a wealthy American family, the young Thomas Stearns Eliot grew up looking out over the Mississippi River. He went for a PhD in philosophy at Harvard. Enjoying the privileges of the wealthy, Eliot was keenly aware of the empty social rituals he was participating in. Rituals that were driving him to vacillate internally between sardonic laughter and despair. The struggle with the predicaments of subjectivity found its expression in Eliot's early work, particularly the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, written at the age of 29.
Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights in one-night cheap hotels and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells.
After Prufrock, everything changed. Eliot, now at Oxford, met fellow American expatriate Ezra Pound, who recognized Eliot's genius and arranged for the publication of Prufrock. At the same time, he decided to stay in England and become a British citizen. However, the next years were hard ones. Eliot, now married, struggled with money, ill health, and intellectual confusion. But out of it came his stunning critique of modernism. The metropolis, the cities of banks, cars, and the dry landscape of rock and sand. His 1922 Wasteland was something new in every way, and a daring risk for Eliot's career and social standing.
Unreal city, under the brown fog of a winter dawn, a crowd flowed over London Bridge. So many I had not thought death had undone so many. Sighs, short and infrequent, were exhaled, and each man fixed his eyes before his feet.
The modernist critique was continued 3 years later by perhaps the most famous and profound of all the 20th century poems, The Hollow Men.
We are the hollow men, we are the stuffed men, leaning together, headpiece filled with straw, alas. Our dried voices, when we whisper together, are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass, or rat feet over broken glass in our dry cellar. Here we go round the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go round the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning.
In the following years, Eliot joined the Anglican Church, divorced, and remarried, and in 1936 published the first of his 4 quartets, the work Eliot regarded as his masterpiece. In the 4 quartets, Eliot's earlier harsh critique of the emptiness and shallowness of modernism was replaced by a deep understanding of the spiritual aspect of life.
I said to my soul, be still, and wait without hope, for hope would be hope for the wrong thing.
And
all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well.
Eliot won the Nobel Prize in 1948, and passed away in his beloved London in 1965.
That was an interesting segment. I can't wait to see the series.
Me either. We have so much great programming here on the Learning Network.
We do indeed.
Well, that does it for this edition of the Morning Show.
Remember, the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned right here on New Hanover County Schools Television on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a wonderful day.
And a wonderful week.